Hello, my peace family and friends. This is a little different time that I'm talking to you than it has been when I've been preaching online when we were going through COVID together. But I just wanted to say hello, and I wanted to let you all know that I miss you very much, that I'm anxious to be back with you. Some of what's been happening for me with long haul COVID is that I have trouble finding words sometimes. My brain doesn't quite make sentences accurately. I have a hard time remembering names sometimes. Sometimes I lose my train of thought completely and I just stop. It has been hard to not be able to rely on my mind. The good news is that the COVID doctors that I'm working with have every reason to hope that everything will come back to normal within about 6 months, which means from the time I started, hopefully by the beginning of January. I'm learning little by little what it means to yield to a body that doesn't behave the way that I want it to. One of the things that's been really hard for me during this time has been that I have been missing each of you. I miss hearing your stories, and I miss your laughs. I miss knowing what's happening in your lives. And there is a sense in which I feel like I have abandoned you. So I wanted to let you know that your pastor is still here, that I still care about you all, that I'm anxious to be back among you soon. It's been hard for me right now because it is harder for me to pray than I thought. For someone like me who is very cerebral, I have a hard time just sitting. I'm sorry, I'm going to rephrase that. This is a little of what my COVID brain does. As someone who is very cerebral, it is difficult for me to know how to pray without always having the words that I used to have. I also find that my attention is just all over the place in a way that it hasn't been. And so it's been a bit of a lonely time. And I've tried to figure out where God is. One of the quotes that has come to me lately, I can't read very well. And so I've been reading poetry or short Bible verses, little things that draw my attention and can keep it. And one of the quotes that I'm going to read to you in a moment is from a mystic from the 13th century named Rumi. Many of you have probably heard me speak about Rumi before. But this quote was one I had not heard before. When I have imagined my life and my relationship with God in previous times, I think about going out to the water outside of the lake cottage where my grandparents lived and just floating on the waves. Just this ability that I learned from my Aunt Patty where you can just throw your arms out and just let the water hold you. And it's one of my very favorite things to do. And what I learned as I've grown a little older and grown a little heavier is that my buoyancy is a lot better. So there, are benefits to aging. So often for me, it has been a prayer image that I can rest in the waters of God. So, as I was looking through some of Rumi's poems, this quote caught me, and I want to read it to you. Give up to grace. The ocean takes care of each wave till it gets to shore. You need more help than you know. And I was thinking about how difficult it is for me right now to give up to grace. I can't tell you how many times I have doubted whether what's happening is real or whether it's just in my head. And it is very reassuring to talk to doctors who say, no, we understand. This makes sense. This lines up. The other thing that I'm aware of is that when you float on the ocean, it's a lot rougher than it is when you float on the lake. I think about a time last winter when I went to Mexico for my 50th birthday, and I had so much fun playing in the waves. And I also became aware that the waves were dangerous. There was one point when I got stuck in the water and rushed back into the sand, banging my lip on the landing. And right now that's sort of what it feels. I don't feel like I'm floating in easy waters right now. Instead, I feel like, while I know that God is creating those waves, while I know that the ocean is being contained and protected by God, I need more grace than I know. And that's a hard thing to accept. So, I send you all my love, and I look forward to being with you. I wish you all peace.